Okay.
Okay, I'm now recording. Okay. I also have to share my screen. That would help. Okay. Let me know when you can see it.
Okay, here.
Yeah, look at that. Looks pretty cool, huh? This is your squad that I created for you. Uh,
Jason the Daria.
yeah,
Daria.
that's your.
He's a
He's a catcher, one of the best catchers in your league. Okay. So I'm gonna give you an overview of how the whole league works, I guess, first, and then we'll
gotcha.
go into the nuances of OOTP. Um, so our league is uh, the North American Baseball Association, or the NABA, as I like to call it. So we have this website here, which is like the stats website, and also the files like hosted on here. So like one guy who is like an OOTP fan created this like website structure and basically like uses SQL to pull all the stats from the game, so you can like see all the stats like on the website here and like the standing stuff. It's pretty cool. And then he like
Nice.
patches package as like a service, so like a lot of online leagues use this website, which is kind of cool. Um, so here you can see there's one, two, three, four, five, 6 leagues here. So these top ones here are all North American leagues, and these are like where all the user players are. So it's a promotion relegation league, so it's kind of like European soccer. So
Gotcha.
if you think of this as like the Premier League, this is like the league championship below it. And
Yeah.
so like this green means those are people who would qualify for the playoffs if the season ends. The season's going to end on Friday, so there's only a couple of games left of the regular season. Then we go into the postseason. And then this red is like the relegation zone. And then here is the promotion zone for the ACBL, which is like the bottom league, and that's where your team is, Cincinnati. So you're actually you're like 7 games out of a potential playoff spot to go up.
Gotcha. Do you guys do a full 162?
We play 120 games, so
Gotcha.
it's the way it works is you'll have most weeks will have 4 like domestic league games, so league games within your own league. And so you play Thursday through Friday, and then also there's like additional cup games, which is like extra games against these like European and Asian teams. And all of these teams down here are all AI run, and they'll always be
Yep.
like all AI run. So basically, you can trade with these teams, and I'll show you how to do that later. You can trade with them, and then you'll play against them in like tournaments and stuff. Um,
Nice.
so like a full week would be Thursday through Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and then all the cup games are like best of 3. So you play a Monday, Tuesday, and then a possible third game would be in the next sim. Um, yeah. So anywho, so here is the standings currently, and so it's a little bit complicated. Like decide who goes up and down. Basically, the last place finisher of the NABA will go down automatically. So right now, if the season ended, Florida would go down to the ACBL automatically, and then these 3 teams plus these 3 teams will play in a playoff. And then these 2 teams go up automatically. So Mexico City and Seattle are pretty much going to go up, it seems like, unless Las
Mhm.
Vegas can go on a crazy run. But Seattle and Mexico City will go up automatically. And then these 3 teams and then these 3 teams will go into a tournament. And then the last 2 spots will go to the last 2 finishers of that tournament. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Last season, um, Vancouver, Florida, and another team, Washington. There was like basically all the ACBL teams went up and all the NABA teams went down, which was really interesting. um, So that was last year.
Actual people, or is there AI like American teams?
Yeah, so there is a couple of AI teams I'm looking to fill them. So you're gonna take Cincinnati, and then I have another friend who is potentially could jump on this call at some point. He's gonna take over Florida, and then he has a buddy who's interested, which I don't know who's gonna take over, and then I have another guy who's interested who could take over another team. But basically, the open teams right now are Memphis, Florida, which is going to be taken, Las Vegas, Ottawa, and Philadelphia. The rest of the teams are all managed by people, which is kind of cool. So a
Gotcha.
pretty
It
good. What?
looks like you and I'm assuming you're Chicago,
Yep.
right? You and Mexico City are dominant, and then whoever's Bay Area is
Garbage.
atrocious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um. Yeah, but my team is like the Dodgers. They dominate the regular season every single year, and then I keep losing in the Game 7 of the World Series. So I actually
Hey,
haven't. This is the fourth season now, so it's the fourth time I've clinched first place now. Um, and I don't have a championship yet. It's like last year, my friend Jeff, who's Brooklyn, he won, and that was his first year up from this league. And then this is Joe. Joe's in the league, Boston.
yeah.
Um, he just won this league last year, so this is his first year up in this league. Um, so he's like a contender, and then this is my dad, Denver. My dad plays
Hey,
too.
maybe
Um,
you can pull a Dodgers then.
yeah, I'm hoping that if the real life Dodgers can do it, then the fake baseball Dodgers can do it. Okay, so this is so that's kind of like the league structure and how it works. I'm gonna pull up like I have you can look at the schedule here, and I should probably do a better job of like updating this, but this is kind of like how it'll look. So I'll sim like Wednesday to Wednesday usually, and I usually sim um every single weekday in the morning. I'm usually done around lunchtime, and I sim like 1 week of games. So it'll be, I start on Wednesday, and then I'll sim like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then sometimes there's like cup games in there that look like this.
Gotcha.
And then it'll always end on when the next sim will start on Wednesday, so there'll be like two cup games, and then if there's a third one, that would be at the beginning of the next sim. So that's basically how it goes, like the whole season. And then in the off season, we like slow down to like 3 days a sim. So you can do some back and forth bidding for free agents and international free agents and all that stuff.
I'm
Okay.
gonna get every Japanese pitcher.
Yeah. Or yeah, nice. So I have some like pretty cool teams here. So there's like Port Moresby, which is in Papua New Guinea.
I bet they're
There's a team.
chock full
There's
of
a team
people.
from Fiji. Um,
Oh
a
my god,
team
they would
from
be trash.
Yeah, they are pretty trash. They got the Dhaka Jutes, the Auckland Tartara, which is I guess that's actually a real team. That's in New Zealand. Bhutan, the Bhutan Thunder Dragons. So yeah, there's some cool names. The Oslo Trolls.
Is
And
that PSG?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So a lot of these logos and jerseys and stuff I made myself, which is I think is pretty cool.
No.
So I
What
have a
is
lot
it?
of fun with the
Nope.
yeah, the Snokes, which apparently is a fish with teeth that's popular in the Netherlands.
Do
Um,
they eat it?
I don't know. They eat you up and they chew you up and spit you out. Yeah, the best foreign team is Delhi. They like win the league every year, and they always like win a bunch of tournaments too. They're just like crushed. Look at that, 316 run difference. That's even better than mine.
Do they? So, but they have to stay in the because
Yeah,
that lower league is the lower Asian one, right?
this is the lower Asian league. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. And then a lot of times, like Joe and my friend Jeff, who's Brooklyn, they like to do a lot of trades with the AI and like trade rape the AI. Uh, but it's
Is
not
that- is
it's not that easy to pull off heist. I've made it more difficult. So You can, but we'll get into some of that stuff now. Okay, so here's the game. So basically, what you're gonna do each day. Um, so you have this screen here, and once you can get your game to work, well, you'll have to
Yeah.
like
And
download the
letting
file
it.
and open it, and then you'll like sign in. Um, so you'll be like on this list. So I think I already have you on here. The default password is just baseball. And so like this is what you'll see. So you'll see your name up here. Let's see what your guy looks like. Uh,
I need him to.
ooh, got a nice
Oh, wait.
mustache.
I need more weight to him. He's got to be a chunker.
A chunk. All right, I'll see what I can do. Okay.
That.
So there's a couple. The nice thing about OOTP is there's a couple of ways to get to like the same screen. So you have like all these drop downs at the top. You also have all this stuff at the side, which is like the same stuff, but like if you prefer that. I don't use a lot of these except for like the mail is easy. So you'll get like emails and stuff. We'll tell you like what's going on in the league or like contract negotiations. You'll get like these development updates and stuff. Basically, like the first thing you get in, you click on your name. You got your manager's office. Oh, actually, the first thing you want to do is click File, and this is how you get the updated league. You go to Online League, and then download latest league file, and that will update the game so it's like the same game date as the file that I just sent out. So like after the games are simmed, and so then you make all your changes. So you like switch all your guys around, and then you would go to Online League Export Team via FTP, and then that's how all your changes get saved. And then right before I run the sim, I just like pull them all, and then they're all on like my screen. It's pretty nice how it works.
Got it.
Okay, so you got your manager's office here. So it gives you a little overview. So like this was your last game. You played Phoenix. Here's the current standings. Here's your minor league systems. This is a cool team I made for you, your rookie league team, the Niagara Nades.
Nice.
um, oh, you'll notice who's on the Nades. Let's take a look. Here's Joey Freshwater.
He's gonna
Um,
be.
he's gonna be a future star. Um, okay, so you got your home screen here. You can see your mail here. So different stuff. You get your mail from here. If you want to look at your team screen, you can go to like the home screen here. This tells you again the standings. This tells you your batting leaders, your pitching leaders, your schedule. This is like how you're ranked compared to other teams in the league from stats perspective. So it's out of 10. So kind of in the bottom of a lot of these stats. Apparently, you have a really, really, really good defense. Plus 15 is like unreal for a team zone rating. So here's like your primary lineup, your rotation. So we typically run like a four-man rotation because most of the time you're just playing those four games. And
Mm,
then the only cup games that you'll be a part of is the Open Cup, which is everybody. Otherwise, most of the time you're just playing four games a week. And then you have your
yeah.
bullpen here, and then how your minor league system and how they're doing here. And then this is kind of like a new thing they added. It's just like a chart to see who's like the top team, but it doesn't always like work or look correct. So I don't know why it's in there.
Well, it's
Um,
also pretty busy.
yeah, it's also crazy to look at. Like if me as as a data scientist, I'm like, this is garbage. I would never create such a terrible graph. Okay, so this is like your home page. So you got like home players, all the stuff at the top. Next one is meet the team. So this highlights some of your top players. And uh every player is on like a 20 to 80 scale. So the way I like to think of it is green is good, blue is like elite. This like lighter green is like better, and yellow is like average, and then anything orange or red is like below average. So just remember
Gotcha.
that. Don't focus so much on the numbers. And then in this game, all these ratings are based on what your scout sees. So it's kind of a little bit subjective, which makes it kind of fun because scouts will value different things, and also a lot of times people's like ratings will change depending on like your development budget and different things like that. So like someone could have really crap ratings and then get good, or vice versa, which is I think makes it fun.
Do
Um,
you like pay your scouts or like
yeah, you do pay your scouts. So scout your scout is the I have coaching turned off in this league. It's set for scouts. So your scout is your only staff member that you have on your team, and I've
yeah,
just like set the their salaries like pretty low, and then just given them like max contracts. Don't worry about like trying to find the best scout. You can like customize your scout however you want, and then I'll just make those changes for you. Within
okay.
reason, I give you like a there's like a point system, but we'll go over that later. I wouldn't worry about it right now. Like that's something you can worry about like in a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah.
It's not gonna make a huge difference, but eventually you'll understand like what you want from your team. Like maybe you want a lot of young players if you're focusing on a rebuild, or maybe you want a lot of you want to be really good at like scouting the draft or something like that. There's like different things you can make your guy focus on, or you can just make a
I'm gonna be
well-rounded one.
the Oklahoma City Thunder of this league.
Uh, meaning what? They
Uh,
develop players well?
no, just stashing a
Oh,
billion draft.
stashing draft picks. Yeah, so you can look at the like prospect pipeline by going to the league page here, and then you click prospect pipeline, and this is kind of like the MLB top 100 or whatever.
Mhm.
So the other thing I was getting to is so you have like these scout ratings, right? So this is what your scout sees. There's also something called OSA, which stands for OOTP Scouting Association, and that's kind of like a generalized rating on a player. It's not going to be as in depth as your scout, but if you think of it as like MLB.com, like giving a scouting report on a player, or like Fangraphs or something. So like the
Mhm.
team's scouts are going to have more um, depth into a player, and then that's just going to be like a generalized rating. So here you have head scout like selected here. So this is what like OSA believes about him. So they think his gap is slightly better and his home run power is slightly worse, basically.
Is 4 star or 5 star the highest in this?
5 star is the highest.
Are
Um,
those rare or
they're not they're rare, but they're not like super rare. So you could have like it depends. And I don't like to use like rating like these star ratings. Like it's a good tool to get like for like a base, but I wouldn't rely too much on them because they're very subjective and it doesn't always like reflect how good a player is basically.
so
So I
I'm
would
at
care like more about these ratings or these rating all the like ratings besides the stars. But yeah, 5 is the best. So like silver is like his potential. So if we go back to freshwater, for example, Fat Cat Freshwater, his nickname's Fat Cat. So he's got 4 star potential, but only 1 star current rating. It's because he's only
yeah.
18 years old, and he's in your rookie league.
I
So
use so Joey Freshwater is apparently the um name that Lane Kiffin would use when he didn't want to use his actual name.
oh yeah, like his burner name.
Yeah, Joey Freshwater.
Okay, so
I'm at
this
the
is
getting started screen on my laptop.
you're
It
into it. It's doing something.
well, yeah, it says like take me to the online manual, take me to videos, take me to forums. I
Okay.
got this far last time. I unclicked show this dialogue upon start and
Okay.
clicked continue and then got ass blasted.
Okay.
Okay. Please log in and register to play perfect team or challenge mode.
You
Oh
don't have
god,
to.
is that like ultimate
Yeah,
team?
it's like Ultimate Team. You don't have to do that.
Oh man, that's right up my alley.
I know. I just started a perfect team this week or last weekend, and my teams are already stacked. So if you want to get into that, we could do it together. But Um,
I first got to just comprehend the
we
game.
gotta understand the game, I think, before you dive into
Alright,
that, because it's like
so do I load a
so what you
game?
can
Do I
so what you can do
do
is
a-
I would just do a quick start. I think that's one of the options. Uh, Real League
I'm
quick start.
looking at load game, new standard game, new historical game, new
New
custom
stand
game.
New standard game, I think. That would be like your MLB game. So that might be a good place for you to start. But in order to get this game, I'm gonna have to send you the. Do you still have my email, or I could send you that email again with the instructions?
Real quick, let me just uh do I want to enable challenge mode?
No.
Okay.
Then you can't do whatever you want.
Okay. No thanks.
No thanks. I'd like to cheat. Just kidding.
Man, I have a feeling this bad boy's gonna crash. I don't use my laptop very often for this reason, so
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people can run this on pretty crappy laptops, so I have hope for you. Because it doesn't take a lot of like computing power to run it, which is
gotcha.
nice.
Because I already see the fucking spinning wheel of death, but I don't want to click anything. I want to see what it actually does. If it
All right,
can
yeah, give it some time.
power through.
Okay,
Oh, do I manage these minor league teams or no? Just call ups and
so
send down.
you can go as in depth as you want, or you can set the AI to do it for you, and you can just decide. So like what a lot of new players will do is they kind of create a short list of some of their top prospects, or that maybe they just keep an eye on their top prospects and they can like lock them to a certain level, and you can just call them up and down when you want, or you can just have the AI do everything, and then when you want to bring them to the majors, then you can call them up. Which I
Yeah.
mean, that's not. Say that again.
Do players get pissed off like when you send them up and down?
So I removed refuse to. You can't in this league. You can't like refuse demotion, and there's no option, so you can send them up as much and down as you want. Some of them do get a little upset if they like feel they should be in the majors playing, but I feel like it's not usually a big issue.
Gotcha. Oh, select league. Enter the name of your game. Test one.
Okay. So yeah, so that's your scout, and then that's OSA. So OSA is like generalized. So you use it. Sometimes your scout will be like really high on a guy, and then OSA will like hate him, or the other way around. Usually it's
Mhm.
like somewhere in between is like their actual value. So
Gotcha.
I don't use it too much, but you can use it as if you're like between two guys and OSA likes one guy better, like if you're drafting or something, that might be a good time to use it. Okay, so
Gotcha.
this is yeah, back to the meet the team page. Um, and you can go like forward and back of all your views with these buttons up at the top. There's also this button which has all your recently viewed pages. So if you like, oh, I was looking at that page, I don't know how to get back there, you can use that too.
Got it.
I guess you can also create bookmarks, which I've never done. Um,
That's pretty well.
yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so this screen, and so this is courtesy of OSA, and I think all this stuff will be. I don't know if this is your scout or not, but it's not super important. So this is like your team's top players according to your scout. So you have a 3.5 star guy, and then these are their top prospects according to your scout. Actually, I think this guy's really good. Yeah, he's dope. He's gonna be good. Um, okay, so this is like how your team ranks positionally compared to the rest of the league. So it says Dario, how do we say that name? Dario. He's the number one catcher in the league according to OSA.
He's getting moved to third.
Let me see if he could play third. I don't. um, Anyway, so we got Diodario, we got Cello, who's fourth and third, so that's not bad. Casey Hicks is third. So like you got a trash center fielder, you got a trash third baseman.
They're
Well,
getting cut.
he actually doesn't look like that bad, but these also like fluctuate a lot, so I wouldn't like. But it can give you like a benchmark. So like, oh, maybe I need to upgrade third base. Maybe I need to upgrade my pitching. Maybe I need to
Mhm.
upgrade my center fielder. He does not look very good offensively. Good defender. Um,
That's he's all those plus zone, but he's probably batting 150.
yeah, let's see. Yeah, yeah, that's right. All that zone rating. Yeah, let's see what his fielding stats are. Oh no, he's only got oh in center field, yeah, plus 4.4. That's average for a center fielder.
Gosh.
Okay, and then you have like your owner. Um, so in this league, the owner doesn't really come into play too often. He doesn't take any money from you, and I control the finances, so you don't really have to worry about your owner too much.
Okay.
Um, and then so that's the meet the team page. You can see some of your like career team leaders here, and then your team history. So this team, before I relocated them to Cincinnati, they won the ACBL in 2010, which is the first season, and then they like bombed out the next year, and then they finished
Got
last.
promoted.
They finished last in the ACBL last year, so they can only
Yikes.
go up. But this year they're like kind of oops, press the wrong button. Kind of middle of the pack. Um, okay, so that's meet the team. Next one is team chemistry. So each of these guys have like personality here on the right. So the best
Mhm.
one is captain. That means he has like really high leadership ability. So usually you want to have like one or two captains on your team, and that'll help your team morale. And so
Will
you can
they
see,
butt heads if there's too many?
no, not too many captains. You can't have too many captains. But you don't
Okay.
want like these disruptive guys. These guys
He's
like
cut.
he's yeah, he might be. These guys could be like really bad for your teams. So we'll say something really bad like he's not happy unless or he's not happy unless he's not happy. Not a good clubhouse presence. Disruptive. So like and he's got red, all these like other
Greed.
personality. And how good is he? Wait, yeah, is he any good? No, he's trash. Cut him.
6'5". Jesus
Although his
Christ.
ratings are not terrible,
No, he's getting traded.
but he's fragile. Yeah, you could trade him. I traded one of my cancers away. Um, okay, and then you got like a little report here, blah 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 blah, led by Wilshik. You have two captains and three leaders, which is really good. Sparkplug, Prankster, those don't really affect it too much. And then you don't want to have like too many selfish or unmotivated guys, but two is okay. Two, three, four is okay. You don't want to have like six of them or something. Outspoken is not doesn't really do anything. Baseball cards, you know, if you want to play with these, you can. Um, I wouldn't do this on your computer because it's probably too
Oh
demanding.
God, yeah, it's gonna.
But you could see like little baseball cards of everybody.
Right
Um,
now, it's frozen. Just trying to assign team IDs. So
it takes a long time to set up the league that like a start a new league initially, so I think that's kind of normal.
all right.
Um, all right, so that's like the home tab. The next one is players. I don't really use this one too much. This is like just a list of your players, and then this is your like minor leagues if you want to like look at all your minor leagues in one spot. But I don't really use that too much. This screen is pretty useful. This is rosters and transactions. So this has like your active roster here. So we have a 27-man active roster, universal DH, and then there's no like 40-man or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. So you can send guys up and down like as many times as you want. I actually don't know who I just sent down, so let's just pick someone else randomly. I know it was a reliever, so let's bring up this guy. So you can actually, I think it was this dude, Hope. So you can move him up and down as many times as you want. You can also right click on them and do it here through transaction, demote, blah, 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 blah. So then you have your active roster, your AAA, your AA, your single A, your rookie league. And you can change any of these that you want by clicking these drop downs. And there's like other things you can look at here, but mostly I just do ratings. And then so this can give
Hurt
you a
them.
quick overview of like the talent that you have in each level. So you have those two guys in rookie ball. And then these arrows are like suggestions, like maybe they could play at the next level. So you have like a lot of old guys here in AAA who maybe they're like 4A guys. They could probably move up. So you have to like make decisions on that. That guy actually looks pretty good.
Does
Um,
it ever hurt bringing them up too early?
yes. So you don't want to like for these young guys, and let me give you a good example. So there was a guy on Florida. So I'm just going back to the NABA. Just gonna click on Florida here. Lineups. Okay, this guy, Eddie Stallings. So this guy was the number one draft pick like this year. So like he got drafted like in March. We do our draft in March. The season starts in April. So he got drafted in March. He played 100 and that doesn't seem right. 100. He played 105 games in Double A, and then they got brought up to the majors, and he's like, I guess he's 23, so he's a little older. But like he's been awful. He was just awful in the majors. So he was like he's a number one prospect in the league, I think, and he was a number one draft pick. But the AI, this was like an AI run, for some reason brought him up. Like I would not suggest doing that. Because he could like just tank in ratings if he like does. Basically, you don't want him to like be playing against people outmatched. He's gonna just be really bad, and then if he's constantly bad, then he's never gonna ever be good.
Is
Usually,
there manipulating time like in real life?
technically. So I think our league is 5 years of service. And you can see if you go to front office and go to salaries, you can see your players here. So you have a relatively cheap team, 116 million, but you could probably cut a lot of payroll off. Um, like Robin O'Grady, he's been on your team a long time, but I mean he's not a superstar. He's like average. Well, I guess he's pretty good. He's pretty good, but he's not a superstar. Like maybe he's not the right piece for your team right now. And this guy,
Mhm.
first base, I mean, he's good, but you can get first base. There's like a million first basemen. He probably doesn't need to be making like 17 million, basically. So this is their like what they're making this year, next year. There's like a snapshot. So let's look at someone who. Okay, so like this guy, Johnny Kearns. He came up this year, I think. So he's making 555, which is like the minimum, and he's gonna make that for the next 2 years or 3 years after that. Maybe he got brought up. He might have gotten brought up like uh, at the end of the year. Yeah, it looks like only 7 games, so that's why he has an extra. He has an extra 555 here compared to this guy. So he's gonna hit arbitration a year later, and then this is like what they're projected to get in arbitration. So
Yeah.
there is manipulation, but yeah, I guess that's up to you.
Do you ever mess with it, or is it just like not even worth it?
Yeah, so I like try to what I try to do instead is try to lock down my stars before they hit arbitration. Um, and if I go to my team's really good. And I kind of lock down some of my best players really young. So like these guys who are some of the best players in the league, I think. So like this guy Barker, he's like the best. He's having the best pitching season ever so far. Like absolutely unreal numbers. Like 195, 11.5 WAR,
Good
345
lord.
strikeouts. It's like this was the record for strikeouts last year in the same amount of games. Uh, we started with the first couple of seasons were less games, so the last year was the first season of 120. So he had 318 and broke the record last year. This year he has 345 and he still has like 4 starts left or 5 starts left.
I'm surprised your team got him 7 losses even.
Yeah, I know. Um, yeah. So anyway, so he is someone I didn't wait till to arbitration. I actually got him for 16, which is going to be a steal. And I locked him down for five. You can do, I think, 6 or 5 year. I think it's 6 years max. So you're not like doing a Scott Kingery type thing. In this league. You can't sign him for like 10 years. So I think 6 is the max. So I'm going to have him for 16 million all throughout his peak. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and he'll hit around 30-ish. Um, and then same thing with these three guys too. I got them locked down for relatively cheap. Um, so let me show you an example of like what not to do. So so that's what I like to do is like right before they hit ARB. So I have a couple of young pitchers. These two guys, Martinez and Tyrion. So they're in those like automatic years. I'm trying to like maybe next year lock them down long term, like before they hit, and see if I can get them pretty cheap. But my team's gonna get expensive fast. Um, anyways, let me show you what not to do. So Brooklyn did not sign this guy, but actually Las Vegas did, and then they're no longer in the league actually. So they signed him to a $50 million a year contract out of free agency, which is
Oh my
like
god. That would
insane.
cripple your team.
Yeah. So it's like this guy was half his payroll, basically, and he put him like way in debt, obviously. So in free
For a
agency,
30-year-old 4-star, that's
he's
rough.
good. He's good, but not worth 50 million. Um, but basically, when they hit free agency, they're going to be a lot more expensive because everybody can build on them and everybody needs pitching. So if you have good pitchers, I would lock those guys down. So, like Jeff, this guy's like one of the best pitchers in the league, Walma. So
Mhm.
he traded for him and he was making 10 million and then he locked him down for 20 million, which I think is a pretty good value for him because he's very good. So
Yeah.
like that's a good strategy to lock them down like 20 million or under, even 25 million or under, and not hit free agency because in free agency they could get like inflated like this for whatever reason. This guy somehow got a contract for 50 million. Um,
Does someone actually control that, or was that all AI to AI?
what the 50 million?
This Brooklyn team.
Oh, why yeah, someone controls Brooklyn. So he traded for Tatavardi and then he took like he's only paying like 80% of his salary or something. So that's why it's
Yeah,
42 and has like this little carrot. It's because
got it.
Las Vegas is still paying his salary, some of it. So Las Vegas gets out of the deal. He gets a star pitcher. Maybe it's a good deal. Maybe it's not. We'll see. Anyway, so that's. Let me show you again how to get to that screen. So American Championship is your league, and then you pick your team here, and then front office, and then salaries. So that's your team there. I don't remember the original question, but oh yeah, manipulation of service.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so here's your team, so you can get a quick snap shot of like how good they are. So one thing you can do that might be helpful for you is you can click this action button and you can ask the AI to set up your complete organization. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then it makes some moves for you. And you can also ask AI to set up complete minor league system, and that'll just move everybody but your majors. The other thing you can do, and I think I have this set up for you because you were not playing yet. So if you go to your manager options, here you can set what the AI controls and what you control. So like minor leagues, I want the AI to do all that stuff. Signing, firing, well, the personnel is not in the game, so don't worry about that. Budgets,
How much
ticket
should I
price.
leave to the AI at the start?
So I think minor leagues, let the AI do that. So drafting you want to do, so I'll go ahead and change these for you. Trades you want to do, free agents. you want to do, and okay, active roster moves, demotions, promotions. So that would be like if you're bringing a guy into the majors. So you probably want to do that, and then pitching staff, lineups, and depth chart. That's not too hard to do. I'll show you how to do that. So probably this is what I would start with, and
Okay,
then the rest of it just let the AI uh, go to work.
got it.
Um, yeah, so that's that. So that's how you change that. And so your default password will be baseball when you start. So you can change your password here um, by putting in baseball, and then you'll set a new password. So people can't like log in and change your team. Although
Yeah,
I don't think anyone will do that. The thing I like about our league is it's all people that I know or people that I know. So it's no like random people, which is really cool.
gotcha. Yeah.
So it makes it more fun because people get into it, and then it's like more camaraderie. So all these things can be changed. I don't really change that stuff, but it's like really customizable if you find like a screen that you like.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's go back to. Okay, so we did rosters and transactions. I kind of covered most of that. So the other things you can do are seize your injured list, um, and then your international complex. So the international complex, that is, if you think of this is like your talent abroad. So think of it as like setting up a school or like a baseball school in the Dominican Republic or something. Like you have like 15-year-olds, 17-year-olds over there, and they're getting better over there, and then you want to like graduate them from there when usually when they're around 18 is when I move them out. So like this guy, I mean he doesn't look that good, but you can like move him to your lowest league, like some of your 18-year-olds, your 19-year-olds, or just cut him. So like this guy's pretty
So
trash. So
if I brought
see
up
you
one of
later.
these guys, if, if I brought one of these guys up to the farm team, do I just have to straight cut one of those farm guys?
Yeah, good question. So we have there's a roster max, so 35 for AAA, AA, and then this is supposed to 50 for single A. And then this is supposed to be 50 as well. But I have to have one of them be like no limit, or else it'll break the sim. So just try to keep this like under 50. Um, but basically, you would just so let's pick a guy that like actually could be moved up. So like maybe this guy Juarez. I mean his contact's not very good, but maybe we'll see how he does in rookie ball. So the rookie league. So all the other leagues except for rookie is exactly the same. It's going to be a four-man rotation, and then they play like Thursday through Sunday. Rookie league is like half a season, and it happens like right after the draft. So I just added this season. So it's people 21 and older, so there's like an age limit on this one. And it's going to be like your young players who just graduated from complex, maybe you found them as a free agent young, or the people you just drafted, and you want to stick them here for a little bit. So it's all going to be people around their age, so they're not getting overmatched. So, for example, I'm just going to move this guy up. The other thing you can do is let's take a look at this guy. Yeah, this guy looks pretty. He actually could be decent maybe if you develop him. So you can also go to actions, transactions, promote to rookie league, and now he's on your rookie league team. For whatever reason, he doesn't have a face. I'll have to fix that. Okay, so some of these guys did well in rookie league, like Ventura. So yeah, let's use this screen and I'll talk about like when you might want to move someone up. So let's look at Freshwater first. So he kind of struggled a little bit in rookie league, and he's only 18 years old, so he's pretty young. I would probably stick him there another year. So you want them usually to have at least positive WAR, maybe hitting like at least 270, have like a 330 on base at least. That's usually what I look for in hitters. Um, so I wouldn't say he's good enough. He's kind of struggled, so I would stick him there another year. Ventura, on the other hand, who's also 18, also gonna be a beast. It looks like. He did pretty well in rookie league. 320, 382 on base. Um, he was like an average OPS, but good average. Didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
power, but maybe he looks like he'll develop that later. So I would move him up. So you can go to transactions, promote to Bakersfield, or you could just drag him up like that. And so now you're at
Yeah.
51. So like if I go to export, it's gonna give me an error. Okay, this I don't know why this happens. This happens all the time for some reason.
There's just
So
the invisible guy.
yeah, well they're there. It just says they're not there. So just ignore that. Usually it gives you an error saying there's like too many players on your rookie league team. It might
Mm.
be because the season's over that doesn't care about that. But so now it says like 51 out of 50. So you'd have to find someone to either cut or move up, someone else to move up until you're like balanced again.
You can just move my shittiest player down.
Yeah, or just cut him. Like this guy's 20. Wait, no. This guy's 26. 26 in single A.
That'd
25
be
movement. Although sometimes pitchers are rare. This guy looks pretty trash. All right, see you later. All right, now he's a free agent.
guy's gonna turn out to be a stud.
Yeah, he's gonna be a Cy Young in a couple of years at 30 when he makes majors. Okay. Anyway, so you can go through and see your different guys. Usually for starting pitchers, I like to give them like 100 innings. If they have like a 4 ERA lower, then I'll think about moving them up. That's all like personal preference. Okay, so that's rosters and transactions. Trying to think if there's anything else. So we don't have waivers, so you don't have to worry about that. Or trading block. You could fill this out if you want. Like other teams can come in and look at it, but you don't have to. It doesn't really do anything. Or touchables, you don't have to really do that or that. So basically, just these top ones, and then so these are like the what the heck is that?
Oh god.
Acromioclavicle joint irritator. I have never seen that injury before.
Made up.
What the heck is a acromioclavicle joint? Wow. Okay. So that's rosters and transactions. So like I said, so these are just like the same screens but like higher or like blown up, I guess. Transaction log, this is sometimes useful. This can tell you like all the moves that you made. So like when I just auto did, this is all the moves the computer made for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, so now we get into like the actual rosters screens. So there's pitching lineups, those are the two. And you can also get them by clicking on your team and doing it here. This is usually how I do it. Um, okay, so like I said, you have a four-man rotation here. And so Jack Barriers is your best pitcher. He's supposed to go first, and then Lee, and then Kaminsky. So you see this FO?
Hmm.
That means he's set to be a follower. You can turn that off, but do you know what an opener follower is? I don't know how close you watch
Having
baseball.
like a reliever start the game.
Yeah. So like this guy, Christian Silvassi, his secondary role is opener. So when Kaminsky pitches, this guy starts the game, and then Kaminsky will follow. Um, Usually you do that for a guy who struggles against like the heat of the lineup, or sometimes they'll do it if a guy has like really bad stamina and you want him to pitch like later, like the later into the sixth and seventh. You might use a reliever um, there. So let's click on barrier and I'll walk through the different ratings here. So for pitchers, there's three main ratings. So there's stuff, movement, and control. Stuff is related to like how well they strike out people, and it's based on the types of pitches that they have. So this guy has two Well, he has like three plus pitches and like two plus pitches. So he has like two really good pitches, the fastball and the changeup, a good sinker, and then he has like an average slider. So that's a pretty good pitch arsenal. Oh, he's angry. Why is he angry? He's angry at the team record. Hmm.
Well, too late for that, bud.
Well, you got very little time to turn that around. Okay, so his stuff is how well he strikes people out. Movement is that's related to the amount of home runs that he gives up. So he's like average, slightly above average movement. And then control is how many people he walks. So we can see his how that's reflected here in the stats. So he's walking like an average amount of people, and he's not really striking out very many, 5.5. And he's not really giving up a lot of home runs either. So it doesn't really seem to correlate to his stats so far, but that's what those three ratings mean. Um, so if you have like a home run park, you don't want someone who has like terrible movement. Okay, looking at this screen here, so you have stars, which we talked about. His ground ball, fly ball tendency, it's pretty self-explanatory. How fast he throws, his arm slot. So arm slot, um, that is like all cosmetic, so that doesn't really affect anything. It's just like a fun thing, I guess. Pitcher t- pitcher type means so he throws a lot of fast pitches as opposed to a lot of like breaking balls and stuff like that. So this is like based on your scout. So these are like all the leagues. So this is how good he is compared to your league. If you want to look compared to the NABA, um, it's not too different. It doesn't look like I don't see any changes. Oh, it's changing this. That's why. Yeah. So he's a starter and oops, starter in both leagues. You can also oh, it's already relative to NABA. So in your league, he's slightly better. See, because the NABA is like slightly more talented.
Got it.
Okay, and then this screen is like their defense. For pitchers, defense is not really important. So I'll talk more about this panel when we open up a hitter. And then this is the personality which we talked about. So he's kind of like middle of the road, decent guy. Other things you can see on the player page, you can go like more in depth in his ratings. So like this is batting at the top, so he's not good because he's not a batter. And then this is how he is versus righties and lefties. Same ratings here. Batting stats, he doesn't have any. Pitching stats here, you can see how he's done at every level. Usually I like to make this just majors once they make the majors, so then I can just look at the majors. So your team used to be Orlando, so Orlando is you. So if you see that, that's you.
Got it.
Mexico City is, I guess he was on Mexico City at some point.
He's had a roller coaster.
Yeah, look at this. Well, Mexico City, they love to trade for some reason, and they just like make weird trades. So they have like one guy on their team who's been on um their team like three times, like gone back, gone back.
They're
um,
addicted.
yeah, they're addicted. But that's what I like to see. I like to see people are into it. It makes it more fun. Anyway, so this looks like he was on your team in 2011, traded to Mexico City, traded to for him, and then traded him back. It looks like that's what I would guess. And you can see that here in the history. Um, so was traded to Mexico City, was traded by Mexico City. So yep, he did a old snip snap, and then he tore his and then he tore his rotator cuff. Oof, out 9 months, and now he's back
That'll do it.
and having a pretty good year, 345.
So
Um,
my quick start finally did something.
okay, cool. So you can like
Like
play
I'm
it.
in as Smith as the Reds in a
Okay,
quick
yeah,
start.
yeah. So you can. So now you'll see like the same stuff. You can kind of follow along with just the
Yeah.
Reds if you want.
Okay.
Um, okay, and then their fielding stats, which again as a pitcher is not really important. Yeah, and then history, I just looked at that, so you can see complete history, accomplishments, awards. So he's won one Rookie of the Month award, scouting updates, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. Oh, the other thing, going back to the profile page, so here you can look at his contract. So he is on one of those automatic salaries. It looks like he's going to hit arbitration this year. Um, so he might be someone you want to extend. I mean, he's okay. I wouldn't say he's a ace, but maybe he's a good like 3-4 guy. Even a 2 in the ACBL. So I would like consider extending him. So if you wanted to extend him, you would go to like actions and offer extension, and then you can see like what he wants. So he wants a 1 year deal. You could try to do like a multiple year deal and see how he likes it. Ask for a response. And nope, that made him upset. So now he's not in the right mood.
Great.
um, but you still have him through arbitration, so you can just get him through arbitration again. Okay, so that's contract scouting. So this is like all your scouts updates on him. Each month your scout will come up with a scouting report, and it'll like update his rankings of your players. So you'll get that in your mail. It looks like this. I saw it here. Like this. So you'll see like like Robin O'Grady, his potential power went up. Danny Threets went down. So like you'll
30,
see. Say that again.
he's 37 years old and his
Yeah.
power.
He's finding some untapped potential at 37. Usually it's just like a reflection of other players in the league. So like some of these will, like you'll see these 5 point changes like all the time. They don't really like mean a whole lot. So, use the stats too. Okay, so that's like this just for this player here. And same thing up here. So at one point he was 3.5 stars back in 2010. Now he's just 3 stars. Um, yep. And then these are same things, just like graphed. So this is overall. Justin Doyle is your scout. That's your scout's name. So that's why that's in parentheses there. And then this is like a little blurb about him. So lanky and long-armed right-hander, born in Presidio, Texas, generates a lot of ground balls with a mix of changeup that's off the charts, fastball that's off the charts, and a plus sinker.
Is
Serviceable
everything
slider.
off the
He's
charts?
got 2 off the charts. That's what I told you. Walk rate will always be a concern, but his top-notch velocity will keep him providing him chances. So and then it gives you like usually the last line is like how they see him. So Barrier should be a solid mid-rotation starter with 3 solid pitches. So they're saying he's like a mid-rotation guy. So if he's your ace, which he is now, means you probably have to find some pitching somewhere eventually.
I would say so.
Okay, so that is the pitcher player page. Go back, 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 back. Okay, I can't go back that far, so we'll go back to this. Okay, so that's your pitchers here. So relievers. Usually, what classifies a starter versus reliever? So a starter will have like 3+ pitches. So he's got at least 3. That would be like green or better plus pitches. And then his stamina is like better than 45. I've seen some people do well with 45, maybe 40. So like this guy's a starter. And then your closer. So looking at him, he has 3+ pitches. He's got good stamina. I would consider putting him in this rotation as well. And actually, he did start 18 games this year, so he's someone who could probably start for you. Oh wow, look at his injury proneness, wrecked. Wonder
He's just ravaged with injuries.
yeah, he's had a couple of small injuries. I don't know if he's
Yeah,
any like
not wrecked.
big
That's
ones. That just means he's like really susceptible to injury.
got it.
Not necessarily. And I also simmed like 10 years before I started this league. So some of these guys could have had injuries in that time that aren't reflected here. So like he's 32, he's a little older. Maybe he had like a really bad injury right before or something. Although,
Got it.
well, he's only pitched one full season really, just this year. So maybe he is wrecked.
This may have been my best pitcher. 10-5.
Yeah, this guy is not bad. 369. Nice. Barrier three. Yeah, those two guys, at the top of your rotation. Not bad, not bad. This guy 422. That's not that bad. Terrible movement. Bet he gives up a lot of home runs. Sure does. 1.4. Okay. So usually your closers will have. Okay, this guy has a bunch of pitches too. I'm trying to find like a good example. This guy also could start
Well, just
maybe.
like a two pitch fastball slider.
Oh, this guy could also maybe start. Well, you got a lot of potential. Oh, this guy too. Okay, let me find another
Go ahead,
team.
7 different pitches.
Yeah. Okay, this guy. So this is like a stereotypical closer or like reliever. So I have two really good pitches, and when they get moved to relief or like you can change their position too. I can't on this guy because he's not on your team. Um, you can change their position by going to set position. So I'm gonna change him to starter, and then you'll notice he'll get like a stuff uh, bump
Hmm.
when you switch him to reliever. So it goes to 60. That's because that means usually when they're in relief, they're not going to be facing players as many times, so they're not going to be seeing like all their best pitches, so they get like a little bit of stuff boost. Um,
Got it.
so usually here's a good reliever. This reliever or they usually only have two pitches. So if like all these guys who have three and like this guy's 45, so he's kind of on the edge, but he started 6 games. Maybe he could be a starter. So you could experiment on some of that stuff. So what you would do, like say I wanted to move this guy into the rotation, you just kind of drag him over here, and then boom, he's in the rotation. Then this guy will go down to the bottom, and then this is their role. So if I just want to set him to like long relief, and then this is their secondary role, emergency starting pitcher. So that just means like if one of these guys gets blasted in the early innings, they'll put in this guy for like 3 to 4 innings after that as like an emergency starting pitcher. Like sometimes there'll be an
Yeah.
injury right at the beginning of the game or something like that. And so for this, you can do the same thing here. You can ask the AI for bullpen, and that'll just affect these guys. So now it's making this guy your closer because you moved your other closer to the rotation. Or you could also ask AI for staff, and that will do everybody. So it's going to put this guy back.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that I think that's pretty much everything for pitchers. So you can, switch all of these roles and there's different roles. So like closer is like your classic closer. A stopper is kind of like Andrew Miller, is like your best pitcher who comes in high leverage areas. And then setup is kind of similar to stopper. They're like high leverage and they're right before the closer pitches. So I actually don't use a
That,
closer. I use two stoppers, which is that's working well for me. If you have like two like elite relievers, that works pretty
got it.
well.
Does that pitch count what their max
Oh
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
set?
Good question. So
So
zero,
like they never go above like 120 or something?
yeah, zero is no pitch count limit. Yeah, so if I would set this to 120, and usually when you enter something, you want to hit enter, or else it doesn't accept it. So that means he'll pitch like 120. He could occasionally go over it, but like usually they keep it around 120 there. You can also go to strategy and set it, oops, down here too, and that'll set it for all your pitchers. Um,
Does that mean they try and get there or just that they won't typically
they
go
won't
over it?
pitch. They doesn't mean they'll go for it. Just means they won't pitch over it.
Okay, because I was going to say 120 would be insane.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in our league that happens um,
Only
more
Trevor
than
Bauer
in, more than in
20.
the majors. But yeah, 120. Most pitches will come out around like 100 anyways. Um, okay, so that's pitching staff. So then you have like a similar thing for batters here, which is the lineup screen. And then you have the verse righties and verse lefty tabs. So your lineup looks different between righties and lefties. So you could do the same thing here. You can ask AI to do all this stuff. You can ask them to you can do all depth charts and lineups. That'll do, this is the depth chart and then this is the lineup. So batting order and like where they're on the field. Or you could do just lineup, which is like just the batting order. Or you could do just depth chart. I think, where's that? Oh, maybe you can't do just depth chart? Oh no, it would be this one. Generate depth chart based on, oh no. I guess you can't do just depth chart. Interesting. So I sometimes use these, or like a lot of times I'll set the depth chart here. Like, um, so Diodario's starting, and then every 15th day, Galunsky's gonna, come in and give him a rest, essentially. Usually I set the depth chart and then I'll ask the AI to do the lineups, and then he'll switch these around, and then I'll tweak them a little bit depending on what I want.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory. So this is like the position. So they have like the position. So he's out of there now. You just drag it down like this. And then this is like who's gonna play their second most often, and then this is who's gonna play their third most often. So like if starter tired, these guys won't get many innings here, but like you could set like every third game and every fourth game or something if you wanted like a lot of these guys to get innings. And I like to do that in the minors with guys and play them in a bunch of different positions so they get good at like a bunch of different positions. But again, when you're first starting out, you don't have to do the minors. All right, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna open up this guy, Terry Leroy. Sounds French, sure it is. Born in Patty.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we do get some great names because it's such an international league. There's a guy named So Hung.
I need a.
I think he's out Mexico City. Ooh,
I'll
he's
give him
good.
everything.
He's in AAA. You should trade for him. Oh, there's also Fat D. That's a pretty good one.
Did you make these?
No, they're generated.
What?
Yeah. But I'm thinking about making some funny ones, and I also have like full high school and college leagues, which like feed the draft. So if you really want to like get in depth and look at that stuff, you can too. so
Oh
I might,
God.
so I might make some funny names and stick them in there and see if they make it to the majors eventually. Okay, so we have Thierry Leroy. All right, so for hitters we have
I don't know what
Contact.
accent that he went like Irish. Terry Leroy.
Thierry Leroy.
Tuckley?
Leroy. Leroy. Thierry Leroy. All right. So we have Contact. That is how often they make contact with the ball. So, and usually like put it in play. Um, so that's usually like the most important stat, I think. Um, yeah, so that's contact, and then gap power is um how their frequency at which they hit like extra base hits, doubles, and triples. So if they have like really high gap, they'll get a lot of doubles and triples. And then whether it's a double or triple depends on their speed and base running, which is right here. And then
Gotcha.
home run power, that's pretty self-explanatory. I is how much they walk, and avoid K is how much they strike out. So those are the main hitter ratings. Um, okay, so over here, let's talk about defense. So this guy can play two positions. He can play shortstop really well and second base really well. Or in second base, not so well.
I was
Um,
gonna say right.
but the thing with these positions here, these can be developed, while these don't really develop. So we have his range is 70, which is really good. So blue is really good. 80 is the max. So he's like an elite defender essentially. So he's a really good shortstop, 75. So if he keeps playing second base, so like if I stuck him in second base for a whole season, eventually he would get this up to a 70 as well because his ratings are really good. Does that make
Got
sense?
it. Yeah.
But you have to be good at the stuff to make these better. So I couldn't put like it, for example like Diodario for whatever reason he doesn't. I don't know if his ratings are not showing up there. They're here though. I think because it depends on what position you make him. So let's go back
It's
and
like a catcher doesn't really have other options.
yeah. So like if I make him a third baseman, so he's trash in everything. So he would be very bad everywhere except first base. Pretty much first base anyone can play, and first base is actually dependent on how tall you are. Like if you're really tall, you're a better first baseman, which is I just learned that like recently. Like that helps your defense. But that's the only position where height helps your defense. Um, so Diodaro can play catcher, but he can maybe play first base, but he probably couldn't play anywhere else because his infield range and all that stuff is really bad. Um,
So much for a third baseman. Sad.
yeah, you'll have to find a third baseman elsewhere.
This guy was a stud.
This is another guy that Mexico City traded away for some reason. He was on Mexico City and he traded him away for like all these guys, and all these guys are no longer on Mexico City. So like this guy's on Ottawa. This guy's back on your team. Oh, this guy's yeah, just one of them is on Mexico City. Even these guys are elsewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. Um, and here's Bixler. This is the guy who got traded 3 times. Okay. So for catcher ability, this is like how well they catch the ball and also how like good they are at framing and stuff. So they say that this is like the money ball of OOTP. So like the higher the catcher ability, the better it helps your pitching staff. And then arm is just how good they are at throwing people out. This steals are dependent on catcher arm, and also pitchers have a rating called ability to keep on base or something like that. So that's like how good their like pickoff move is. That those two things are, and also the player's like speed and stealing ability. So he's got no speed and pretty bad at stealing. Those determine steals, but I feel like catcher arms really it's not super important because steals are not like very common, and most of the time they don't win the game for you.
Mm-hmm.
But catcher ability, they say is really valuable. So his catcher ability is average. So um, you might be able to trade him because he's such a good hitting catcher for someone who might not consider catcher ability to be as valuable. And you could get a catcher who sucks at hitting but is like 80 catcher ability and he could help your pitchers.
Can I
Could
make
be
this guy my
could be one
DH?
strategy. Yeah, or you can make this guy your DH. That's a good another strategy. Okay, so that is hitters, and then they have like the same things here. So contract, scouting. So certain to unleash his obvious talent both on the field, both on the field, and at the plate.
Off the field.
I thought that's what they're gonna say, but they didn't. Serviceable defense as a catcher, so he's average, not elite defense. Okay, so that is lineup. So you can change it for righties and lefties. There's like other screens here, so you can do it this way. I don't really use this one. And this just, you can see it all in one spot. And then this is like, I don't really use this. I wouldn't worry about it. But you can like set your lineups for like every day. So say you wanted like one guy to get 1 day in or something. Otherwise, you don't want him to play. You could do it in this screen, but I don't really use that too much. And then strategy, a lot of people don't use this, but it could be valuable if you tweak it. So you're just like average and everything. There's also presets. So like, let's see, is this traditional? Nope. I don't know what this is balance. Oh, I don't know what it was before, but
It was
um,
nothing. It was 50, 50, 50, 50.
yeah. So you can like look at small balls would be like all these stealing, base running, squeeze plays, all this stuff. Um, Unorthodox is just random, which I wouldn't suggest. Tactician,
You're like,
so you could
yeah, you're
like
like, fuck it. Okay.
sabermetric. So you could play with these like different things, modern sabermetric, and then tweak them. There's also like all times, early, late game, last. You could really go wild here, but usually I just do all times and I tweak them how like what I have on my team. If I have like a lot of fast guys, maybe I want to steal more. If I have a lot of if I have a shitty bullpen, maybe I want to like do really quick hook on relievers, like way down here or something. You
Got
could
it.
play with that. Okay, so this is like the last major tab for like your team page. So this is like your fun stuff, the finances. Ooh,
Oh,
wow.
of course.
So here we see your budget. So I just gave everyone the same budget. I wouldn't care too much about your budget. This is just so you can like make um, the trades and extensions that you need to. This is your payroll, and then this is how it is relative to the league. So you're pretty low in the league compared to payroll. This is your ticket price. The max is $35 that you can go to. All the stadiums have 50,000 capacity, so you have some room to grow here. And this is your market size, fan loyalty, fan interest. So fan interest is like how willing people are to come to games. So 85 is pretty good considering your team was like last place last year. So if you look, oh, you can't.
They're entertaining.
Yeah, I can't look at other
We get all
teams,
the
but
we get all the opposing fans to come.
that's right. You guys have wacky giveaways that bring the
Yes,
fans in.
Diamond Dog Night.
Yeah. Um. Okay, so then you have this like fan loyalty and market size. That's stuff that grows over time. Like if you're consistently winning. But it's very slow. I don't really know exactly how it works, but I wouldn't worry about this. This fan interest is that can really like help bring in a lot more money if you have like a high fan interest. And then some players, if they're like popular. Oh, that's one other thing I forgot to talk about. Um, so they have their status, which is like their health status and their injury proneness, and then their popularity and morale is here. So this is like how they feel about each aspect of the team. So a lot of them are unhappy with your record, and this is what I was
What a
talking about.
surprise.
Um, this is what I was talking about with expected role. So he's expected to be starting lineup, or some people, if they're on your AAA team. So I'm just gonna go to your AAA team right here. So you can go to your AAA team by just clicking this, and then lineups or whatever. So let's pick. So like this guy, he's got 2 WAR. Um, he doesn't have expectation, but like maybe like one of
My
these.
guys are just easy breezy. They
Yeah,
don't.
they're like whatever, no expectation. I'm okay with being 32. Okay, here's one. So he's 32 playing in AAA. Roll on team unhappy because he's expected to be playing in the majors. And then his morale is like down a little bit. So those are things that you can watch, and like if you have enough of those, like if they're mad about stuff, that'll hurt your the team chemistry in the screen. So
Cutting that guy too. Everyone's getting cut.
like guy's 32, he'll probably retire at some I mean soon or
I'm
something.
tearing this team down to the
You
bare
should
bones.
tear it down to the studs. I want to see oh yeah, that's one thing we're gonna talk about in the finance page. So that's good transition there. Um, so yeah, if you cut your payroll, um, we'll talk about it. Okay, so that's the tickets, and then here's like your expenses, and then you also have like how much room you have to sign free agents, which is a good amount, 58 million, and then how much room you have for extensions. Um, and then the other thing I like to look at is accounting. So this is like your year to date, how much profit you made and how much balance. This is your bank balance, so you have 22 million in the bank, which is pretty good. And then this is like what you're projected to make. So you're projected to lose 9 million, but it doesn't take into account your playoff revenue. That's your money from your cup games. So it's 3.1 million from cups. So you're expected to lose uh, around 6 million ish, which is okay. So that's fine. You can do that for like a pretty good time because you have like this bank budget or this banked payroll here. Some teams are gonna lose like $50 million this year, and then
Oh, jeez.
they'll have to like cut a lot of their salary in order to like because I mean you can take big losses because you can also make big profits if you especially in the NABA the top league because of the playoff revenue. If you keep your payroll roll really low, you can make like a 50-60 million dollar profit in 1 year.
Damn.
And then I take all the extra money, the max in the game, or I capped it at 50 million cash in the game. So basically, any profit over that 50 million, I just stick in like a I theoretical bank for you. And then I add it to your budget at the beginning of each year. Um,
Yeah.
so basically, this budget is based on everyone has 170, and then whatever you have like excess in the bank. So it doesn't include this money. So like if you made, say you made like a $40 million profit this year, I would put 10 million in the bank, so you'd have an extra 10 million on your budget next year essentially. So you just want to make sure you're not losing like $10 million every year, and you want to keep like this total balance number in the positive essentially. That's your goal. So like you're on pace to lose about six ish,
Hmm.
which is fine. Which is fine, I think, because you're at 22. Um, so that's fine, and if you cut payroll, then you'll be fine. So if you go back to salary, so you're gonna drop down to 103 next year. And then there's possibly arbitration guys you might not pick up either. Okay. So the other thing I want to talk about on this screen is, I'm not seeing it. So there's like, I'll just go through different tabs here. So then we have the owner, which I mean, don't really worry about that. We talked about accounting, salaries. We talked about upcoming free agents. This is like before extensions and things like that. So these are free agents that are upcoming in. Oh no, these are upcoming free agents for you. So these are guys you have to sign or you might lose them. And then scouting. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about is your budgets. I'm gonna pop into the commissioner, um, and then I'll show you those two things. So I'm just gonna bring it over here so you don't see my password.
Baseball one.
Yeah, it's baseball commissioner. Okay, and we're back. All right. I'll go back to this screen. All right, this is what I was talking about. So you have these two things, and you can change these in the off season. And these are like really good ways to get a good farm system or kind of spend money when you don't aren't spending it on your players like your payroll. Like this is a good way to build a good core, I think. So the first one is scouting budget. So right now it's 9.7 million, which is on the lower side. So if you go to scouting, so the league baseline is 8 million, so that's like average, I guess, or the base, and then the max is 24. So these are the different things that your scouting budget goes toward. So goes towards. So you have major league scouting, which is like evaluating major league talent. Minor league scouting is looking at the minors. Amateur scouting is like the draft, and then international scouting. Those would be people that you bring into your international complex. So these guys, that would be international scouting. So sometimes you can get like a really studly international complex guy. So I feel like international scouting is if you're trying to build like a really good farm system, that would be like a good thing to put it into, basically. So that's scouting. The other thing is development budget. So development budget is kind of like a black box, but like I don't really know like how much money helps your team or whatnot. It's kind of unknown, but basically I've been maxing mine out since the beginning, and now my like farm system's like really really good, and like a lot of my prospects are hitting instead of like fizzling out. So if this is like the one thing I'd really recommend for new players is like put the max in the development budget if you can, and you'll see like a lot of guys like start to become really good, and you're like farm system will really climb and climb and climb, and you'll have like a lot of like 3, 4 star prospects, where you would instead of having just like two, like 4 or 5 star prospects, you'll have like 20 or 15 3, 4 star prospects. Um,
About to turn Joey Freshwater into Mike Trout.
yeah, that the
It kind
development
of
budget.
works too. Freshwater, Trout,
Yeah,
boom, boom.
fat cat. What is his name? Fat cat freshwater. Yeah, so that's like a really good um, way to get ahead, I think. So if you cut, like, first thing I would recommend, if you want to make this team your own, which I'm assuming you do, you have a lot of like aging guys who've been around on the team a long time. So like um, O'Grady's 37. Um, so like maybe you move on from some of those guys and you pump a lot of money into this development budget and just make sure you're like making a profit, and then eventually like all those prospects will start to hit. Um, that I think that's a good strategy, and
We
that's what I've been doing like since the beginning. Since I had like a lot of those young guys who I didn't have to pay yet, so I just was pumping out the development budget, and now I have like a lot of good prospects too. Okay, so that is, and there's no personnel. Oh, the last thing is this player development page. So this is like a good screen to keep a track of all your minor leaguers. So this is like a graphical layout of all your positions. So you can look at your entire organization. So this is like considered the best player at each position in your organization. Um, and then this is like the best prospect at each position. And then down here is all your top prospects in their prospect ranking. So Freshwater is the fifth ranked prospect. Ventura is the 16th. So these two guys are like the future of your team. Like the
for their like overall in the minors or just in like farm ball or
this would
single
be,
A.
yeah, the whole minors. So like if you think of
Gotcha.
like the MLB pipeline,
Hmm.
like Wander Franco is number one, right? The number one prospect. So this guy is the number five prospect, and it corresponds to this. Although sometimes they don't match up completely for some reason. So
Got
here's
it.
Freshwater here, so he's number five. So like the top four are all pitchers. Um, and then this guy's in the majors, so he'll move up to fourth soon next year. And I have this set to be dynamic, so these numbers will change all the time. And so will these. So here's like your top. So these are like your top 200 in the prospects in the top 200. So like these guys, if you pump out your development budget, like these guys down here, will start to become like top 50 prospects,
Nice.
maybe. That's what I found. Okay, so that's development. So if you're not playing the minors, this is a really helpful screen to get to, because you can just look at all your prospects here in one place, and then like here's their slash lines and their level. So I like that screen. No personnel, so don't have to worry about that. And then schedule, you can look at the upcoming um, schedule here. So we have 3 series left until the regular season's over. And the last one is info. Um, this just has like a bunch of stats, and it's like your team leaders, um, your ballpark information, your history, your retired numbers, and stuff like that.
So
Okay.
when's the next draft after this playoff?
It'll be so right now it is November. So then December is the playoffs, and then we do like award voting. And we do all the award voting like on the website. Oops, I moved it over here. We do all the award voting on here too, which is pretty cool. So like we all do like manual awards here, and then I put them in the game. Um, so you can see like I haven't opened them up, but eventually you'll be able to vote for like Rookie of the Year, and you can. I'll have to uh, have you sign in on this site, and then or sign up. You just like sign up with Google with your like Gmail or something, and then I'll like link you to your team, and then you'll be able to see like your. I can't see it here, but your team will be like highlighted. Or if I go to like player leaderboard or something, your team will be your players will be highlighted in green like this.
Nice.
So this we actually do the draft on here too. So we do the draft and the award voting on here. So like here's how you, so usually you like look at the draft in here. So you can actually look at the pool, I think. So it'll be 2014. So I think these are going to be guys who are going to be in the draft.
So can they do shit like in real baseball where they declare out of high school and then end up going to college, or are they on your team for sure?
No, they won't. If you draft them, they'll be on your team for sure.
Uh,
But some guys who don't get drafted will go back to college. Yes, I think that's how it works. So like this is the top prospect. He was playing at USC, and like
Three
actually,
seventy five.
yeah, I actually added the actual. So I added all these leagues so they could have actual stats over multiple years instead of just having random stats, and they actually like mean something because like all these guys are playing in the same league. Um, But I don't think this is like a full picture of the draft pool. It gets released like before the draft. You'll get a message in your inbox that says draft pool released, and then you'll be able to like look through it and then like make a list. But we'll go over that when we get closer to the draft. But basically, it's December now. Then we'll do award voting in like December as well, and then we'll go through the whole off season, and the draft happens in March of next year. It's like March, and then we have spring training, which is like right around then, and then the season starts like around April 1st. So we're just
Yeah.
ending this season, so it's a good time for you to like evaluate your team, come up with a plan. So the first thing you'll do probably is like the arbitration, probably process. But I can
No
talk
one's
about
getting arbitration.
um, I could talk about that more when we get to that get to that point. Okay, let's talk about some of the like team screens. So we have like pennant chase, we have standings, all the stuff you can click here. You have like news. We have like where's the home page? Isn't there like a home page? Oh, home page. Home page, so you can see like the quick view of batting leaders and pitching leaders and individual pitcher leaders. We have stats. Here, as you can see, all the league leaders in different categories: batting, pitching. You can make it qualified. You can make it just rookies. Blah 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 blah. Then we have transactions, so you can see like, oh, this is like how you sign a free agent. Um, I'll talk about that more in the off season. We can have like another chat, and I can send you some videos too, or you could play your red sim for a while, and you'll get some of this stuff down pat.
Got it.
Um, because I don't want to like spend an hour just going through everything. It's a lot.
Yeah,
um,
it is.
it is a lot. Over time, it'll make it's like very intuitive, but it's a lot when you're first starting for sure. Okay, so prospect pipeline. We looked at that. The rookie draft. We looked at that. So there's also these like little reports you can do. So one that I like to do a lot is the minor league system rankings. So this is all the teams in the best minor league system. So you're fifth, about middle of the road. And this like tallies up depending on like all the top, I think like 200 guys that you have. So you have like 161 points. So let me show you like the difference in our league. So like my team is just
My
absolutely
God.
absolutely stacked because I just keep discovering all these guys who are like really good. Like this dude is a
2, 3, 5, 9.
this dude is a 15 round draft pick, 15th round,
Oh my God.
and now he's a number 5 prospect. I don't think he's going to be that good because for whatever reason, pitchers don't develop changeups if they're like already poor in this game. See, like his changeup shit, but it has good potential. I don't think he'll
Yeah, it'll
have.
just like never happen.
Yeah, it'll never develop for whatever reason. It's only changeups. I don't get it. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like this guy was like a 2 star. I think I just drafted him in the 15th round. It was like a 1.5 star guy, and now he's got really good pitches. So yeah, these guys I traded for, so this guy too. But yeah, they'll probably hit though because this guy he might become a free agent because I think he might be a minor league free agent and he won't sign a contract with me, so he might be a free agent. And
Pepe
then
Sylvia.
this guy is a was an international free agent, so you can do that too. But that's in the off season. I'll talk about that another time. Anyway, so that's one of the things you could also look at, like positional rankings. So like this is your team, and like we'll do this league. This is your team and like how they rank um, at each position. So that same thing from the meet the team, and then this is like your top prospect in each of those positions and how they compare to the rest of the league. So you have the top first base prospect, the top second base prospect, the third best third base prospect, the first best. Ooh, this guy Mahoney. No, he doesn't look that good, but better
Mahomes.
better catcher ability. Anyway, so that's some of the reports. The other thing I like to do, um, transaction log you could look at. Sometimes you might want to look at like some of like the records you can get there from this screen. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. You can toggle to all the other leagues and do the same things in those leagues as well. So if you want to look at some of the different teams.
So you guys are on Slack or Slack and Discord or what?
Yeah, so we're on Slack. We don't actually use Discord. Um, I mean, we don't have a Discord, so I'll send you an invite to the Slack. Um, or I think I'll just send it to your email, and then I send you an email with the startup instructions also. So just follow those instructions, and that'll tell you how to get the game in, like how to get the saved game in your on your computer. So you'll have your Reds game, and then you'll have our game. All right. I'm gonna stop recording.